Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's nice to see everybody here in the chat. It's nice to see everybody here today. So we have lots and lots of things to talk about today. My name is Felicia from SweetGeorgia and also the School of SweetGeorgia. Today is a big, big day. So I have lots of things to share with you today. And I think the biggest thing I should probably say right off the bat is today is our moving day. Today is moving day for the School of SweetGeorgia. It's a big day. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the ins and outs of all of that. And, if you are a member or if you're not a member, kind of what to look for, all of that kind of stuff, because we do have something like almost 10 years worth of content and courses and teaching and education that we are moving to this safe new space that is hopefully going to be very future proof, and excited to share all of that stuff with you. Hoping that you guys can hear me okay. Everything seems to be working okay today, technically. Now, just to start off, I wanted to sort of catch up a little bit about the things that have been going on in and around the studio, because one of the things is that all of last week, Teresa and Charlotte and I from the studio, we were out in the Chicago area. It was actually Rosemont, Illinois, and we were there for H&H Americas. And so I just wanted to show you a little bit of what happens at H&H. If you've never heard of this show, basically what it is it is the annual trade show that happens for the craft industry. So like H&H is basically stands for Hobby and Handarbeit. It was a German trade show that started off. We used to go to this trade show. It was H&H. It was in Cologne, Germany. And then after a few years, it started up in the US as well. And now they actually are going to be having two H&H Americas shows in 1 year. They're going to have one in the springtime around this early May time, and they're going to have another one, I believe it's the end of September. And so over the past number of years, this is the fourth year that we've attended the Americas show, the H&H Americas show. Over these 4 years, it has grown, it has expanded. Every single year, it's gotten a little bit bigger, and it's neat. So I wanted to show you a little bit about, the things that I've taken photos of and kind of show you a little bit about behind the scenes. So this is the once a year trip that we take where we actually head out and get the opportunity to meet with the yarn shop owners who carry our SweetGeorgia yarn all over the States. We get this one chance to meet in person, and it's really, really quite wonderful. Just to be able to see people in person is absolutely the reason why we go to this show. So you can see here, there's a couple of snapshots of Teresa and Charlotte and me at the booth, and the booth that we set up for this. It's basically to chat with yarn shop owners about our yarn, the colors that we make, and also give them a little bit of an introduction into what we're doing with the community and the school as well. So there's all of that. And you can see a little bit of a sneak preview of some stuff that we were showing. And I'm going to talk about that more in depth later. But that is going to be our summer knitting project that we have coming up that was designed by Charlotte. And so you can see here, there's a little snapshot of some yarns that have been pulled together. It's a palette of colors that one of the shops has decided to put into their store. It's lovely. Now, this is just us at the booth, but there are, of course, other people that we meet and other things that we see. So I wanted to show you a little bit more. So, there's a nice photo of Charlotte and Teresa after we finished setting up the booth on the first day. So we go in on Monday. We fly over from Vancouver to Chicago on Monday, and then we basically head straight to the convention floor, and we pick up all of our stuff that we've shipped over, and we set up the booth. Well, actually, we leave the stuff in the booth, and then we set up on the Tuesday. But you can see, right behind us here, the West Yorkshire spinners. This is like an aisle where all of the other knitting yarn that you sort of know and you recognize are all there. So Barocco is in there, Amano, I'm trying to remember, Dream in Color is there, Madeline Tosh is there, Lopi, like all the yarn brands that you probably recognize are in that aisle as well. And then we were also, for we've been stationed next to these guys for a couple of shows now, but we were next to the Xiaogu booth, and so we got to talk about needles. I got to do a little bit of experimenting with a new prototype of a new thing that's coming out, and so we're very, very excited. We love our needles. We love our Xiaogu needles. We have been using them for a long, long time because when I started going to these trade shows, I think we started in 2000. I was 2012, I think, is the first one. 2011 or 2012 might have been the first show. And at that first show that I went to, it used to be called TNA, we were across from Xiaogu, and it was their first show as well. And so, like, over the years, we've kind of like continued to meet up at these shows every year. Again, one of the most important things about going to these shows is to see people over and over again. And it's been great. So that's, like I said, people. It's seeing the people. So these are down here in the corner here. That is Leon and Wendy from Xiaogu. They have a new special, wonderful thing that is happening that we're very, very excited for. Basically, Xiaogu Needles also bought signature needles. And so before we discovered Xiaogu needles, both Teresa and I, we were knitting on signature needles. And so this is a very, very exciting not collab because now they own signature needles, but it's going to be like a merger of the two things into like all the best things that you know about Xiaogu needles and the best things that you know about signature needles are going to be, combined together in a beautiful, beautiful thing that I got to test knit on. And it was very, very fun and exciting. So I'm looking forward to when that all comes together. You might also recognize a couple of people here. You might not. So this is actually Kate Gilbert she originally came out with Twist Collective, which was an online knitting magazine that happened. It was beautifully done, gorgeous patterns, gorgeous photography. There was writing in there. There was tutorials. There was techniques, like so much about this. This website was absolutely fantastic. It was called Twist Collective. So you might see some of those patterns on Ravelry or on the internet and everything. But that is Kate Gilbert, and she has come out with a brand new book, and it's called Social Media Group Therapy. So you can find that online. I flipped through the book, and I'm going to get myself a copy as well because I think I need all of that. Here in the middle, this is Chris Acton, which this seems to happen every year, once a year, whenever I go to these shows. This is like an opportunity to meet other people who make content for YouTube, for the internet, for things like that. And so if you have not yet come across Chris Acton teaches weaving on YouTube. And so you can find her channel. And she's taught waffle weave. She's taught lots of different weave structures, and she does weave alongs. And so if you are wanting to go more in depth into weaving and find more weavers on YouTube, Chris is one of those folks as well. And then just below her here is Jan. Jan Macklin is a weaver as well. And I met Jan maybe a year or two ago. We were both on a panel discussion at H&H talking about weaving with knitting yarn. And Jan is a very, very, very accomplished weaver. And she was showing us a sort of like a whole table full of samples that she wove and all sorts of different structures. But she was showing us this one where I don't know if you can see, this is all like, it looks like fringe, but the fringe is all grocery bags. It's like shopping bags, plastic shopping bags that have been cut up into strips and then woven as a weft in kind of like an overshot pattern. And so that the reason why the fringe is sticking out is because it's staticky. And yeah, so the static of these garbage bags is like floating up off this piece. So it's just neat to see people who are experimenting, who are trying new things, like they're weaving, we're weaving, they're all doing things. And it's great to be inspired by other people who are making things. And you could see also even in the top that she's wearing, that is a hand woven and then sewn from hand woven fabric piece that she's wearing there. And then up at the top here, this is Carrie Bogert. She was the editor of my book, the book that I wrote like 10 years ago now. It's called Dyeing to Spin and Knit. And it was a book that was published where I put in all my dyeing techniques and then showed you how to knit from the things that have been dyed and all of those kinds of things. And so with Carrie, I don't think I ever had a chance to meet her in person. All of this stuff happened sort of over email, online, all of that kind of stuff. And so this was great to be able to see her after so many years. And then finally, down here, we have Andrea Louie. Andrea is a physical therapist that we did a podcast episode with a while back. We'll have to link to that podcast episode. But she is a PT that's special. Well, she talks a lot about crafts and ergonomics and how to make sure that you are being good to your body while you're still doing your crafts, and how to improve your posture and just different ways to prevent your body from being in pain. And so this is us because she was doing a book signing of her brand new book where she's written a book about ergonomics and crafts. So I'm excited to actually look deeper into that. We got a copy of the book at the studio now, so we can give that a read and learn some stuff from Andrea. So yeah, those are just a handful of the people that we met. And then I want to show you a little bit about the stuff that we saw as well, because when you go to this show, a lot of it is to preview new products. We are always, like Teresa's always looking for things to put into our secret stash boxes. So we're looking for notions, we're looking for like gifty things. There's lots of cool things. And so I was over at the Shacked booth. Well, it's actually Shacked and Louette are together now. And this appears to be a drum carter that they are coming out with. I don't think it's available yet, but it looks like a little roving, it's a very narrow drum carter. But I can imagine it would be quite efficient. I would love to get a chance to play with that a little bit more. And then we also met Jamie Lomax from Doodles. If you guys are not familiar with Doodles, Doodles is where you can kind of see like a little picture of it here, but they're charts that are exactly 24 stitches across, I believe. And Jamie's created these little illustrations or that become color work motifs that you can use in all sorts of different projects. So she designed one specifically for Chicago with all Chicago themed motifs, colorwork motifs in this little package. It was a Chicago pack. And then they made a cowl out of this. If you're not familiar with Doodles, they are so cute. Charlotte got me a pack maybe a couple years ago. It was like a summer pack. And the motifs are super cute. And the idea is that you can just use little bits of scrap DK weight yarn and mix them together and then make these beautiful projects. So we're looking forward to exploring that a little bit more as well. And then here we have, again, we always see Twice Sheared Sheep. If you don't know that brand, they also make a lot of very handy notions and things. I have a stitch gauge. It's a stitch gauge. Yes, I've used their stitch gauge. It's basically like a plexiglass with printing on it. And it's a stitch gauge where you lay it on top of your fabric and then you can see exactly how many stitches per inch you have, all of that kind of thing. And they just recently came out with this thing, which is called the row gauge. And so you can kind of see here, I used the ranunculus sweater that we brought. The ranunculus sweater was knit in our Trifecta DK. And Greta asked me a question. She asked me, what is the row gauge of that sweater sample that you have there at the booth? And so I ran over to Twice Sheared Sheep and they let me borrow their handy row gauge. And you can see, you just lay it on top of the fabric and you can see the V's of your little stitches, your little stockinette stitches. When you get them to line up, it looks like that is exactly 5.5 rows per 1 inch. So it's very easy, very handy. Yeah, so that's a nice thing to have. And then I also wandered over to the knitting machine booth, of course. And so there is a knitting machine booth that is a silver reed booth. And so we teach this machine knitting on LK150. It's a silver reed LK150. And at this booth, they have the LK150, they have the SK280, they have samples and things like that. And so she was showing me all sorts of examples of things that you could make on the knitting machines. And this one happened to be done on a bulky weight machine, holding multiple strands of yarns together to make new colors, new yarns, and things like that. So lots and lots of very inspiring things. And then for anybody who is here on the call who happens to be like somebody who wants to block their stuff, like wet block, or somebody who perhaps wants to wash fleece, wash small amounts of fleece, there was this product which I thought was really, really cool, but it was too big for me to take home with me. But it is called a strucket. So it's a straining bucket. So there's two parts to it. There's one part, it's kind of like a pasta strainer. If you like cook pasta in a pot and it automatically strains out, it's basically something like that. But it's kind of designed for blocking your knits. You could put raw fleece in there. You can pour boiling water in there. And then you just basically lift the inner bucket out. You hang it on the side of the outer bucket. And then the whole thing just drains out. So it's like the perfect, perfect, perfect thing for washing small amounts of fleece. But again, it wouldn't fit in my suitcase, so I did not get one. But they were very, very cool. And finally, like there's a lot of not lectures. Well, there are definitely lectures. There's a lot of education that happens at this show, but also there is a survey that goes out at the beginning of well, no, they talk about the survey on the last morning, something like 8:30 in the morning. You go, you listen to this talk where they analyze and they talk about sort of a picture of what crafters are like and how they are changing, how everything about like what they love, what they don't love, all of those kinds of things. And so we go and we listen to that, and I find it very, very interesting to hear all the things that they're talking about because they're describing us. They're describing what we do. If you guys watch Arne and Carlos on YouTube, they were also here at the show. They were in this fabulous booth. I had to take a photo of their booth because it's so lovely. I think Bridget would actually love it. But the whole booth was designed to look like a log cabin. It was so pretty. And so like the inside, I don't know how they managed to do this because it looks like these panels are just like continuous, but the space was massive, and they have this backing wall that is all sort of designed to look like a log cabin inside. They have a little mini fireplace. They have like a seating area. I didn't leave my booth very often, but so I don't even know if they filmed in this spot or if they did a live stream or anything from their own booth, but it was so lovely. It was very homey. There's a Christmas tree in the corner because of course, you know, they make those little Christmas balls, those Christmas ornaments that are all color work and things like that. So that was a really, really lovely booth. I really, I quite enjoyed that. And then this is the HGA booth. This is the Hand Weavers Guild of America. So these are all of the samples that Jan Macklin has woven. So you can see that one I was talking about with the stripped up garbage bags here, but she has other ones where she was playing with overshot. It doesn't even look like overshot. She was showing me samples of things that were done in double weave, things that were done in turn twill. These are all natural dyed yarns that she's used in that project. And then here in the front, these are all kitchen towels that she's made out of a cotton that is called cupro. Cupro is like a very specific manufacturing technique for making this type of yarn. But the cotton is very soft, very, very, it's just really, really lovely to feel. So it'd be interesting to sort of explore that cupro yarn a little bit more and see what that's all about and how it's made and all of that. In any case, if you are, if you are a weaver and you want to go deeper into weaving, HGA hosts a weaving convention that happens every other year. And this year it is happening. It's happening in August and it's happening in New Orleans. So if you are interested, you can always participate in that. Yeah. And then you get to meet all the weavers and look at all the looms and look at all the fabulous projects. And yes, this is the Louette / Shacked booth. And so you could see they had all of these different looms that you could come and sit at and play with. They had the tapestry looms. They have all the rigid heddle looms. This is with the quartet, which is basically the cricket that has been converted. And then you have here, this is the Louette David, and then the Shacked Baby Wolf. So they're basically approximately the same weaving width, but very, very different in feel. So I got the opportunity to sit at the David because I'd never really woven on a David before, just to feel what it feels like to treadle that loom. And I have a Baby Wolf that I've had for like almost 20 years now. And so I love that as well. Now, Meg is asking, is H&H open to the public? So H&H is open to trade. And so every year we get a link that we can send to people where you can get a free pass to come into the show to look at everything. But you'd have to come in as something like a content creator, which I think you are, because Meg, you have a blog, you write things, everything. So if you come in as a content creator, or you come in as you basically have to be business adjacent or having a business in the fiber arts yarn kind of world in order to participate. But I am really only showing you the 1/4 of the show, 1/3 of the show, which happens to be yarn. The rest of the show is entirely fabric and sewing and quilting and garment making. And there's a huge, huge, huge portion of this show is sewing and fabric. So if anybody is interested in that, and you're doing something similar to that, kind of like adjacent to that, or have business or work adjacent to that, I definitely encourage you to go. The other thing that H&H has done this year, which is also new, is that the week prior to this trade show, they started a consumer show, kind of like a wool festival, like a yarn festival, a craft festival. So, like how we have Knit City in Vancouver, they basically created that the week before all of this happens. And so that is where vendors will come, they bring all their stock, and then consumers, all the public are welcome to come and join in that. So yeah, I think that this whole organization that makes H&H is really trying to take in a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of feedback from everybody, and continually trying to improve this event as years go on. Because every year it's been better and better and better. It's really changed, but um, it's getting better. Oh, one of the most wonderful things that I got a chance to see is, because, like I was saying, half of it is, or more than half of it is fabric. Um, I went through a period of quilting, maybe when my kids were babies, because I wanted to make baby quilts. And this designer really super inspired me. I mean, you look, she's using exactly the same colors as me, exactly the same font, even in terms of like the font that's here, that's Archer. And that's the pink that I love. But Tula Pink is a fabric designer and a quilt designer, and makes absolutely the most gorgeous and stunning quilts. I was so excited to be able to introduce this to Charlotte and to Teresa. They had a whole gallery, like you walk through all of this hallway, and there's just like quilt after quilt after quilt is all Tula Pink quilts. And it was so lovely in terms of like the way that she cuts her fabric. She kind of calls it like fussy cut, where you cut and then you see exactly like a picture or something like that. So in her fabric, she'll have little foxes or little raccoons or little birds or whatever, and she'll cut those specifically and then piece them. And so it's just the most beautiful things ever. And then the last thing is that I got to meet up with the owners of Knitty City, which I've worked with for like a long time. I went to New York when I was like just a baby dyer. And I went to Vogue Knitting Live in New York and got to go do a little presentation at their shop. And so it was really lovely to see them again. And they gave me this set of stitch markers that are celebrating their 20th anniversary as well. So it is just fabulous. So yes, Patricia's saying a friend went to the consumer show and was very disappointed. Small amount of vendors, and it did not deliver what was advertised. Yes, so I heard similar feedback from people as well about, I mean, it's the first time they're doing this consumer show. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do with the feedback next year. I imagine they're going to receive a lot of feedback about what was good, what was not good, what could be better. But just from what I know from the organization, they seem to take feedback very seriously, and they do make changes. Even, we sponsored the H&H University, which is the set of courses that happened on Tuesday, and that already was an improvement on things that they had done in the past. Yeah, they're always looking to rejig and change things to make it work for everybody. So that is a little bit about H&H and all the things that happened there. We have a couple of members from the school who have gone to H&H, and we've been able to meet up with them there. So that has been really, really lovely and great. And yeah, so we're looking forward to maybe going again. Well, we will definitely go again next year. And yeah, it's good to see this event grow and good to still meet up with everybody at this particular show. Now, let's totally switch gears and talk about other things that are very important today. And the very important thing that I have to tell you guys about today is that today is moving day. Today is moving day. May 15th is moving day. So basically, what is happening is that, let me see if I can show you. So we have this. This is our website for the school. We've had this website for almost 8 years now, I think it is. So we've been working with this website for a long, long time now. And we needed to do a couple of things to make sure that this content would be future proof, that we could maintain it in a really, if like a really good way, in a solid way. And it was starting to be challenging to manage a website that was like 8 years old with all of these things going on in it. And so we are moving to this new platform. We've talked about this over the past few weeks to try to give everybody a heads up that this is all happening. And so if you come to the old website, you will see this notice and it says the school is moving, and then see what's new. If you click this button, it will take you to this page. And so on this page, this is going to be like the new page for the school. And so in a couple of weeks, we are going to sort of make this transition where we are going to replace the existing site with this site. And this site will basically just give you a little bit of information about what's in the school and what's happening in there. And then some ideas about how to join. So we have here, this is a little bit about what we're doing. You can see all of our teachers here, all of our fabulous teachers that are in the school. That's all there. And then you can see a little bit about all of the courses that we have as well. So we have knitting category, we have spinning category, we have weaving category, dyeing. All of these things are inside the school. Now, the way that it is set up now, if you go into any one of these things, say if you click on spinning, browse the spinning courses, then, oops, okay, we'll set that up so you can see all of the courses. And then under membership is where you will find all of the information about actually signing up for the membership, the monthly, the annual, or the specific craft membership. So all of that stuff is there. Now, because you're going to be directed to this page, if you are already a member, you can sign in to either one of these spots, okay? So one of the places you can sign in is you can sign in to the original SOS website. And so this one, we are going to be calling the archive. And so we're going to be changing the domain name and all these kinds of things so that it will say that it's an archive. And we're going to leave this open so that you can sign into this older website and still get your content through there. You can still find things through there for the meantime, while we migrate everything over to the new site. On the new site, you will be able to see all of the courses are going to gradually be added to your accounts if you are a existing member. So basically what is happening today is that we are going to be closing down the ability to sign up new accounts on this old website. Okay. And all of the signups, if you want to sign up for the school, you'll have to sign up on the new site, which is through here. Okay. And then during this time, there is a sort of migration team that is pulling all of the data from the old website and looking at all of the subscriptions, and they're going to figure out the list of all the people that will be sort of migrated over to the new platform. And then your existing subscription will be hooked up there, so you'll be able to access all of the stuff on the new platform. If you have already gone over to the new platform and set up your account, if you set up with the same email address, we'll be able to attach your old subscription to that new email account, If you have changed your email from the old one to the new platform, then please let us know right away so we can let this migration team know so that they can connect your accounts again. I wanted to just really, really thank you for being patient with this entire process. I know that moving is always messy. It's always a little bit like we can't flip a switch and have everything perfect and set up in one instant. And so all of this stuff requires a little bit of time and a little bit of massaging in order to make it all work, in order to set things up in the new space and all these kinds of things. And so for the past several weeks, many people have been working very, very hard behind the scenes to make sure that that is happening. And so I know, Greta has been moving a lot of patterns over from the old website, and so that all of the SOS patterns are going to be available for SOS members on the new platform. Vicky is working very hard behind the scenes to move all the courses and make sure that all of the courses have correct links, and so that the things aren't broken when you go and click in on any of those courses. So there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that are continuing to happen even over these coming weeks. So today is the day that we basically shut down the subscriptions, the new subscriptions on this website, but you can still log in and look at the stuff. And all new memberships will happen on the new website. Okay. And then you will hopefully be able to log into the new Sweet Georgia & Co. website to find everything that we're doing over there. Now, if you are an existing member of the school, you really should go log in and then go to the page that is schoolofsweetgeorgia.com/circle. And then there's a special invite link in that page where you can go and click that, and it will take you to the new platform and set you up with access right now. That's probably the best way to do things at this moment. And then over the next 2 weeks, the migration team will sort of reset everybody's access and set everybody up properly so that everybody's got exactly what they need. And so I'm hoping that all of this is going to be done within the next 10 business days, which takes us to the end of May. And so if you're getting into the beginning of June and you're finding, oh, I'm not able to access my stuff or whatever it is, I can't find this, I can't find that, then please, please, please let me know. And we can look into your individual account and get that all set up for you. As well, at the beginning of June, we're going to set up I'll set up an orientation call so I can jump on like a Google Meet with you, and then everybody can ask questions about if you have questions about finding something or something like that, I can help you with that. So we'll send out a message about that orientation when we have a little bit more information about everything being set up and ready to go. Audrey's asking, are the forums accessible from the community? So the original forums that were on the original website cannot be migrated over to the new platform. They are in it's an older format, and there's something like 100,000 messages on that forum site. And so we kind of got to the point where we couldn't expect a new member to read all 100,000 posts to find out information that they were finding. And so what we're going to do is we are keeping those forums as an archive. Again, you'll still be able to log into them if you were a previous member, and if you posted things to the forums, you'll still be able to log into them until the end of August. And then what we want to do is, we know that there were times in the forums where we learned something collectively, where we went through a process and we gained some learning through a study, or like the natural dye study groups or the twill weaving study groups. We learned things through there. And so what we want to do is we're going to go through, we're going to read it and then filter out and choose some lessons that were learned in those forums. And then we're going to recreate some bits of content that we can share, some actual teaching content that's a little bit more succinct, that will take the lesson and share it with you guys. Yeah, because we had very often, same questions came up, like what temperature do I set my oven to when I'm dyeing? Things like that. And so those kinds of things we can answer, create new teaching content out of that, and then share that with you guys who are new members who want to have that information. And I think that that's a little bit more efficient than having everybody, or encouraging everybody, to read through all the forums from almost 9 years. So that's what we're hoping to do. Yeah, hoping that that works for everybody. Yes. So that is that part of it. So today is moving day. And yes, so if things change on your account, if you can't get into things, please feel free to message me. And we are going to try to get everybody sorted out. But just know that it might take up to 10 days to get all of that worked out. So, yes, this is hopefully where you're going to find all of the stuff that we are doing in the future. So, we are going to be doing our knit alongs through here. We are going to be doing tour de fleece through here. We are going to be doing our winterful weave along through here. We have really enjoyed the way that it works. This new platform, I feel like I get notifications a little bit easier. I can see what everybody is making. It's just a little bit it's nicer because it's not public. We're not posting things on Instagram and then hoping people see things. Like it's really meant for if you want to see something, you will be able to see something. You'll be able to see everything and you won't feel like you've missed anything. So I'm hoping that everybody is enjoying the new space and we are going to continue building out in this area. Now, talking about the school and what else is coming soon, one of the things that is coming soon, the next course that is coming out, is going to be about spinning cotton. So, if anybody has ever been curious about spinning cotton, if you want to spin cotton straight, if you want to blend cotton with some wool fiber, learn how that all works, working with cotton is it's kind of like the next challenge. It's like the next level. Really, it feels like it's a next level kind of challenge because it doesn't feel like wool. The characteristics of cotton are very, very different. And I remember spinning cotton at it was a spinning retreat that I went to many, many years ago, and I had to spin on a tackly. Like the whole experience was so different. And so it's something fun to explore. If you've never tried cotton and you need something to do for Tour de Fleece, this might be the thing to try. So what we have done is Rachel Smith from Welford Pearls Woolen Spinning, she has come and taught a class for us on how to spin cotton. Like how much twist do you need to make cotton work? What kind of tools do you need in order to make cotton hand spun? And so she's demonstrating how to spin cotton in a number of different ways. She has a charka, so she bought that. We also had a quill attachment for an e-spinner, so we looked at that as well. And we also have created these cotton kits. So if you need any cotton fiber to play with or work with, we have that available. So I can show you very quickly. This is what the cotton kit is. Oh, it's sealed. Okay, I can open it. It was sealed up. Okay, so this is our little cotton kit. Oh, look, this is sealed too. I have to break that open. So this is our cotton kit. And there's a couple of different types of cotton fiber in here. So there is one that is naturally white cotton. And this is 40 grams of spinning fiber, 100% unbleached cotton, grown in the US. Okay, so that is that one. Ta-da. And then we have naturally brown cotton. So naturally brown cotton, 40 grams again, 100% unbleached cotton. And finally, we have 40 grams of white Egyptian cotton. And so this is 100% unbleached, naturally white cotton top grown in Egypt. Ta-da! Okay, so there's 40 grams is actually quite a bit of fiber. If you want to spin it on your own, if you want to mix and ply these all together, if you want to blend them together with wool, there's a lot of things that you could do with this. And so this course is going to come out in June. And yeah, we're excited to dive into this. I've spun literally like 3 grams of cotton in my whole life. So this is going to be something new for me as well. Fantastic. Both the white and brown are upland cotton. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I am curious if anybody has spun any cotton before. If you guys have tips and tricks on how to spin cotton. But I'm excited to watch Rachel as well and learn from her. All right. Meg says, my cotton kit is being delivered today. Yahoo! Okay, you're going to be all set. I need to get my drum carder back up and running. I need to get my drum carder working so that I can do some prep with some of this stuff. Because from my bast fiber experience, I've realized that my drum carder was, or my technique was needing some improvement. So let's talk about something else that is also in the SweetGeorgia & Co. community. Right now, we have re-released the twig shawl pattern. This is a pattern that we created, a while back. And originally, I knit this in silk mist. So it was like a triangle, top-down triangle shawl, but it was super gauzy, super lacy, and it was, I loved it. I love silk mist, but we have rewritten it so that way you can do it in a lace weight. You could also knit it in a fingering weight. And so this pattern has been made free and available for all of the members on the SweetGeorgia & Co. platform. So if you're an SOS member, or if you have joined as a maker member in the SweetGeorgia & Co. platform, you can get this pattern for free for May, for the month of May. So I would jump in there. Now, what else am I going to share with you? Oh, yes, I'm going to show you. We are going to talk about the club. So every month we do talk about the Secret Stash Club and the release of that color and what it is, the story behind it, all of that kind of stuff. And so it's already May 15th. So May 15th, if you guys are a member of the club, you will have received this. This is the color called Overlander, and the yarn is one of my personal favorites. It is the mohair silk sock. Mohair silk sock is so lovely, but this color is basically it's got mossy browns and greens, and it's very, very just mellow and lovely, but full of nuance and change. It's like a walk in the woods. But Overlander is, I did not know of this word. I did not know what it meant, and I'd never heard of it until just like a couple of months ago. But the idea of overlanding is the ability to kind of take a journey, take an adventure, and to focus less on the destination, but focus more on the process of getting there. So it's kind of like somebody who is maybe, driving over, I don't know, like off-roading kind of thing, and then pitching a tent in the middle of nowhere, and just being able to be resilient and learn things and gather things and figure things out on the go. And so I really, really love this idea about it not always like being at the destination and then taking a photo, like click, I did it, I got to the place, but more about the enjoying and indulging in the experience of actually getting there. And I think a lot of this is coming about, and you're going to probably hear more about all of this. But in July, my husband and I are taking our kids on quite a bit of an adventure, and it's going to take probably about 3 or 4 weeks. And we are going throughout Europe. We're going to a bunch of different places in Europe. Some of the places that I've actually never been to before. I'm very, very excited about going. It's kind of to celebrate our birthdays. We have birthdays that are 8 days apart. So my husband's birthday is July 12th, and then mine is the 20th. And then our wedding anniversary is halfway in between our 2 birthdays because we thought it would be cute. But now it means that every year in July, we are celebrating for like 2 weeks straight, which is wonderful, but it's just like a lot of things. And so this year, because it was a milestone, we decided was 15-year wedding anniversary as well. We decided to do this big trip. But it was also because we had been planning for many, many, many years. We've been saving up for like almost 10 years for this because we originally thought that we would be able to do kind of like a, like a, what do you call it? Where you take a whole year off? Oh, like a sabbatical. But that was just absolutely not possible. But we had sort of saved up for the potential that that might happen. But in the end, we can't do that. Yes, yes. So basically, like walking the Camino del Santiago, that's on our bucket list as well. We want to do that as well. But yeah, we're talking a lot about travel this summer. And so the way that my husband travels, he loves traveling, but maybe the way that he travels is a little bit different than how I travel. And so a lot of it is figuring out how do you travel together and what do you want to see and how much certainty do you need to know about certain things. And I feel like I'm very go with the flow, very like whatever happens, we'll figure out a way. So this is part of the reason why this color has come about and why I love it so much. But yeah, let's talk more about the color and the yarn because it is lovely. So this is the May Yarn Club. If you are part of the Secret Stash Club, you will have received this in your deliveries. It is really lovely. What we actually made with this is this. This is the Cherry Lane cowl. Oh, and Deborah is on the call today, I believe. She's in the chat today. This is a sample that was knit by Deborah, and I designed it way back, and it's called the Cherry Lane cowl. We have a little project post about it as well. There is Greta modeling it for us. So lovely. But yeah, this is the cowl. And so this is how drapey it becomes. The yarn is really lovely. Yeah, it's quite a drapey little thing that we do. Yeah, and it's got lace. It's got some texture to it. But that is the Cherry Lane cowl that we made with this month's colorway. So thank you so much to Deb for knitting that sample up for us. And yeah. Now, if you like the Secret Stash or you like the idea of the Secret Stash, receiving a new colorway every month, something that is secret that you don't know anything about until it arrives in your box, then I hope that you might sign up for our Secret Stash Club. The deadline for subscriptions is always the 15th of every month. So the 15th is today. So if you want to sign up to receive next month's installment, then you will want to sign up by the end of today in order to get the June installment. And if you liked this one and you think, oh, you know, you want to get some of this, or if you got one and you need to get a second one, we always do make some extras available in the shop. So you can find those as well. Now, let's talk about the next thing, which is this. We came out with something new. This is the new thing that we showed at H&H. And so this is a Party of 5, which is one of these. You know, we have our mini skein sets, which you guys have seen before. Our mini skein sets we normally do in Tough Love Sock. And we have also done them in Merino DK, which is a Merino DK base. Now, this is the first time that we are making it in Trifecta Fine, and we thought that we would do this to give everybody an opportunity to experience different colors, to experience the texture of the Trifecta Fine, all of this kind of stuff. And so we made this. This, you can see here, there's a photo of the shawl that was designed by Charlotte. And so Charlotte designed, oh, it's actually a scarf. So Charlotte designed this lace and garter scarf using the Trifecta Fine mini skein set in the colorway called Wild Thistle. And we paired it together with one full skein of Trifecta Fine. And so one full skein of Trifecta Fine and that Party of 5 makes one of these scarves. We also had a number of different full skein options. So you could also get it in Glow. You could also get it in, I think it was London Fog. I'll have to check, but it was like a lighter color. Was it snowfall? And it just gives you an opportunity to try different full skeins with this wild thistle pack. Now, wild thistle, again, was named after one of the places that we're going to be going in July. And so one of the places we are going to be heading to is Scotland. We're going to start in Edinburgh, and then we're also going to go to Stirling. And so one of my, well, actually, there's a number of things that I want to go and visit and hit. And one of them is Radical Weavers in Stirling, which is, I actually had a chat with them and interviewed them for the podcast. If you haven't heard that podcast, Radical Weavers is doing amazing things. And during that call, she kept saying, oh, you can come and visit Stirling. And we're right there. And then never in my mind did I think, oh, yes, I'm going to be able to find my way over to Scotland and go do that. But I think this summer I actually will be able to. So I'm going to go try to visit Radical Weavers. And then from Edinburgh, we're also going to go back into the UK. And then I'm also hoping to visit Angie Parker in Bristol. So these are some of the things that I'm hoping to do on this trip coming up in July. So that's why Wild Thistle is there. It is actually named after the trip that we are going to be taking to Edinburgh, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's a place that I've never been before. So I keep asking everybody what to see when you go to Edinburgh. And it just so happens that at H&H, we met Alison Chu, who is the editor of Moorit magazine. Moorit Mag is a crochet specific magazine. It's beautiful. It's like very modern. But she lives in Edinburgh. So she told me which yarn store to go to. So that was also really lovely. In any case, I'm very excited. So that is the Party of Five in Trifecta Fine with the scarf project that you can make. And that is the official photos that Bridget has shot for this because they are so, so lovely. So again, Greta is modeling our beautiful scarf designed by Charlotte. Charlotte named this the Hebe Sunset Scarf, and it's named after a spot that she also visited in New Zealand on her recent travels. So this whole project is a little bit about incorporating everybody's travel experiences, everybody's new perspectives into a new project. And so we are going to do this scarf as our knit along for the summer. And so like in the past where we have named our November weaving weave along, we call it the Winterful weave along. In February, we do the February fiber prep. And in the summer, we are going to do this summer spectra knit along. And so really it's just about, we're going to start a project in the summer. It's going to be knitting and we're going to do it with some sort of color, some mix of color. So last year we did a colorwork sweater knit along, and this year it is a colorwork or a color involved lace and garter project, but it's still knitting and it's still a way to experience color, but it's just in a different format. And so we're hoping to keep this something that we do once a year, every year, this summer spectra knit along. So you guys can join us for that. Again, we're going to be talking about that inside the platform, inside the community platform, starting August the 1st. But right now, these kits are ready, and you can pre-order the kits so that they are ready for when we begin this knit along. You could choose to use your handspun for this. You could choose to use a Party of Five that you already have, like find something from Stash if you want to. Or this is also available if you're interested in trying out that Trifecta Fine. Finally, tomorrow is the Knit at Noon. This is the knitting meetup that happens at the studio in Vancouver. So if you are ever around the Vancouver area, if you are there for the second Saturday of the month, usually we are open and Charlotte is there. Sometimes Hoy is there to sort of help meet and greet and hang out with you guys. And you can bring your knitting, bring your spinning, bring whatever you want to work on during that time. And the shop is also open on that Saturday for shopping if you want. But that's, we open up the studio on a Saturday specifically for you guys to come and gather. So if you want to come and do that, you are more than welcome. And This is our contact information. You can find us at a number of different places. The best place to start off is probably our main website. So SweetGeorgiaYarns.com basically sends you to all of the other places that you might be interested in. And the best way to find out about what is happening with what we are doing is to sign up for our newsletter. We are doing a lot of things over the coming weeks. We are doing a lot of things. So we are obviously migrating and moving the school to a new website. We are also migrating and moving our email list to a new provider. And so I am really, really thankful for all of the people who are working so hard behind the scenes in order to make all these things happen, in order to make it appear really smooth, hopefully very smooth on the on your end, so that way your experience is good through all of this. That's my hope. Everybody's working very, very hard to make sure that they can answer your questions or any concerns that you might have. And then I also really appreciate all of you guys for being patient with this process. Everything has like a little bit of growing pains. And after 21 years of doing all this, we are still continuing to grow and build and always look for things where we can improve. Like, what can we do a little bit better? What can we change and look forward towards the future? We are really, really wanting to build everything that we do to do it in the best way possible, to give everyone the best experience possible. And that's why we do these things. That's why we make changes. That's why we constantly are looking for ways to improve. Like, if we just did things the way that we always did, then we could just keep doing them, but that wouldn't necessarily be doing them better or getting better or improving. So yes, I just thank you and appreciate you guys for following along with us as we make these improvements. And so part of that is also that we may be changing a lot of the formats around how we do these YouTube videos, how we do live streams, how we do things. And so we don't necessarily have a live stream, a Taking Back Friday live scheduled for June. Part of that is because there's a lot of traveling coming up as well. And so I appear to always be out of town on the days where these things need to happen or something is going on. And so it has been a little bit challenging to have these live streams scheduled every month. And so I want to be able to take you on some of these trips. I want to take you on the journey to Edinburgh. I want to show you the yarn shop that's in Edinburgh that Allison told me to go visit. And I want to show you like the inside of the Radical Weaver studio. I want to do all of those things. And I need to find a way to better share those stories and those experiences with you that is not necessarily, being attached to my internet connection. So that is something that I'm going to figure out over the coming weeks. And I think that part of the answer is that it needs to be inside this platform where you guys can see it, where you can see maybe more behind the scenes things. So I'm going to sort that out and figure out the best place to share that information with you guys. But I welcome your suggestions and your thoughts and your ideas. So if you are inside the Sweet Georgia & Co. platform, so Audrey's here. Yes. If you want to message me, you can DM me in there. You can always email me as well. Yeah, you can do that. And I look forward to like growing this and sharing more of these experiences and stories with you as we go along. But I feel like if you're in there, that might be the best place for me to show it, because I don't really post personal stories on Instagram anymore, because we can have a longer conversation about Instagram, but I feel a little bit better about sharing it within our own space. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys in there. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here for today, for being here for moving day for the school, for already making the move to the new platform if you have, and for again participating in the Secret Stash, and hopefully also participating in the knit along that's going to be happening this summer, maybe joining us for Tour de Fleece in July. I even bought a lunch bag so I could put an e-spinner in it, and we're going to talk about whether or not I should actually carry an e-spinner with me in a lunch bag for 3 weeks while I travel through Europe. Is this a good idea or is it a bad idea? You can let me know inside the platform. Fantastic. So, yes, thank you. I see Chris Acton Creative is here. Fantastic. And I see Deb is here as well. I miss those Saturdays. Audrey's saying new things are hard, but this new platform is really pleasant and easy to use. Thank you. And Sue Peters saying, look forward to seeing what's coming. And Nina saying, should we log in now at the new platform? Yes, you can log in now on the new platform. That is where we are going to be doing all of the things. SweetGeorgia.co is where you'll find all of that. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I will see you the next time we do one of these things. And I will definitely see you inside the community. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a wonderful day.